pleasure to meet you, Mayor Holland.
It's a pleasure to be meeting with you. I'd love to discuss the circumstances of the discovery.
I was down in the cellar knocking down some old shelving to make room for the new ones when I accidentally broke through the drywall. I would have expected to find a brick wall on the other end, but I saw it was a dark hole. I took out my flashlight and I saw a long corridor behind it. I was shocked.
How long have you lived here? I imagine this wasn't advertised when you moved in here.
Certainly not. I've lived here for 3 decades. I hope to find some answers about what's going on down there.
Why don't we go and have a look?
Be my guest.
Well, that was quite an adventure and a workout.
I won't forget it. I heard from a neighbor down the block that the tunnels are actually related to Bonaparte.
Napoleon?
Not that Bonaparte. No, his brother Joseph. He had an estate down south in Bordentown. Unfortunately, the place burned down. It had some tunnels under it. Hopefully that can be useful to you.
So the tunnels might be connected to him!
No. The tunnels in South Trenton were not related to Joseph Bonaparte. That is a myth. There may have been tunnels built under his estate, but the research conducted by Robert Schenker of Trentoniana, John Cleary, and Emil Sloboda conclude that at no point in time did Joseph Bonaparte create a 3.9-mile tunnel underground that somehow connected to a small series of subterranean passageways underneath people's homes in South Trenton. Perhaps the reason for the tunnels being built under Joseph Bonaparte's estate was more like this.
Zinad, I do hope the new mansion is to your liking. Have you and your family settled?
Father, thank you for letting us move in. Charles and I consider this our permanent home now. Why don't we continue to talk about this in private over here, Father?
Absolutely, my dearest daughter. Splendid, my dear daughter. How is your ease of travel? My property is 60 acres. I would hate for that beautiful dress of yours to impede your travels.
It is quite irksome for me. Sometimes my dress does get dirty. Charles, on the other hand, when he wants to visit the second mansion, he often complains of foot pain because of how all the rubble around. If only there was a way to get there without all that dirt in the way. Subterranean, perhaps?
A subterranean tunnel.
But this still isn't the full story. The almost legendary tunnels of South Trenton were in all likelihoods remnants of a series of cold storage vaults meant for lager beer. This is corroborated by John Cleary's interviews with locals in Trenton in the Bygone Days, Retreat from Trentoniana, revealing the location of these underground tunnels and vaults. The old brewery that once stood on Lamberton and Layler Street. The brewing industry was well in decline after the introduction of Prohibition in Trenton. The factories were eventually torn down to make room for residential spaces. The long tunnels that locals found underground were nothing more than pieces of the vaults that housed German lager beer. In fact, during the construction of Trenton's Route 29 tunnel, a vault was unearthed above South Riverwalk Park. Now, as for the rumors about links to Joseph Bonaparte's tunnels, they were simply tall tales that spread north to Trenton. When the tunnels in Trenton were discovered, memories of passed-down rumors were reignited. After all, Joseph was well known in the area in Bordentown when he resided at Point Breeze. When you're someone that wealthy and famous, people are bound to make up stories about you. Tunnels built to see a secret lover, tunnels built for Napoleon's return, and even more tunnels way that connected to a maze of tunnels in South Trenton. After a visit to the Discovery Center at Point Breeze, it all made sense. The exiled King of Spain sought refuge in New Jersey and built a lavish mansion with a tunnel that led down to the lake shore, a home for his attendants, stables, and storehouses. Unfortunately, the mansion burned down, and a second one was built, and then a lake house for his recently married daughter. More tunnels were built to connect the properties. After his death, his grandson sold the property, and it fell to ruin, with over a century of soil erosion, storms, and forest growth hiding the ruins and tunnels. The tunnels in Trenton likewise fell into disrepair and were forgotten to time like Point Breeze, until some men knocked their shells down and stumbled upon their own Bonaparte tunnels. If not for the efforts of the people of Trenton and Bordentown to achieve and preserve their city's history, the South Trenton Tunnels would only be remembered as the product of a 2-century-old rumor. We give our thanks to Trentoniana and the Discovery Center at Point Breeze and their staff. This research would not have been possible without you. Special thanks to Robert Schenker, whose article was the basis for this project, and Tim Price from the Discovery Center at Point Breeze, who helped us rediscover the locations of the tunnels underneath Point Breeze and other structures